Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Christmas is the birth of Jesus. Christmas is the nativity scene. There are those that don't know this, or they want to hide it. Don't be one of those. Merry Christmas. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America. And I want a patriot to call in with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, good morning. And a good morning, good morning, good morning to all of you out there in the London fog. It's foggy. I hate this fog. It's cold, chilly, and nasty, but brighten it up with some Christmas lights and it looks a lot better. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and of course brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Get ready. We're going to get hit. I know we are. For wintertime driving. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. Right now, let's go to the phone line and wish a Merry Christmas to our Pledge of Allegiance person. Good morning.
Merry Christmas back to you and the whole audience. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless you, my dear friend, and your family, and Merry Christmas. Thank you so much. Got to run to the weather. Appreciate it, Jerry. Thank you so much. Hey, time for the weather brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 West of Hayburn. And they drove to work early in the morning to open the doors at 7 a.m. out there in the fog, but by golly, they're right there on the Burley Paul Highway, serving you with all the different items you need, tools, equipment. They've got sewer snakes. They've got it all. And they absolutely have the experience necessary to help you find what you need. K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 West of Hayburn, 678-3122. Here's the weather.
Hazy and foggy as we make our way through the work week, and that's pretty much your weather forecast here for Zeb at the Ranch. We are looking at areas of dense freezing fog before noon. If we can make it past that, partly sunny skies for today, high of 33. Winds out of the east, northeast, right around 5 miles an hour. For tonight, patchy freezing fog, mostly cloudy skies with a low of 17. That's going to continue for tomorrow. Widespread haze in areas of freezing fog before noon, just hazy afternoon. Partly sunny skies with a high of 33. For Thursday night, patchy freezing fog, mostly cloudy, low of about 21. Then for Friday, pretty much the same. Patchy freezing fog in the morning and in the evening hours. Widespread haze during the day, partly sunny skies, highs close to 40 with an overnight low near 26. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thanks, Gina. Always a great job. Appreciate it. Hey, don't forget, feel free to contact K&R Rental today for anything and everything that you need on the tools and equipment that you need for finishing your job. Absolutely. Call them at 678-3122. K&R Rental on the Burley Paul Highway, wishing you a very Merry Christmas. I'm going to be talking about an animal here in just a moment, and I owe, honestly, everything I have to this particular animal. And I'm going to talk about that in just a moment, so stay tuned. Want to remind you, too, that our dear friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric, oh, my goodness sakes, they're there early in the morning also and ready to serve you with all your heating and electrical needs. You know, they've been in business for well over a half a century. Woo! That's a long time to be a very successful business and very helping to you. Stop in and check it out. All your heating, electrical needs, furnace filters to keep that furnace working properly at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call is 678-0459. Ramsey Heating and Electric, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. All right, tomorrow's the big day. Yep, tomorrow is the big day. We're going to be at Denny's at 611 North Overland in Burley. Yes, sirree, Bobby, America's Diner, for our Denny's annual Christmas party. It's going to be on the air. We're going to be there live and direct. Come on down. Say hello. From 8 to 11, we're going to have door prizes, Santa Claus, and choirs singing all the Christmas. This is the way Christmas should be. And it's going to be tomorrow. And thanks to Jeff and the crew at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, we're going to have that drawing for that great big beautiful Flex Steel men's recliner. Ho, 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 you better get in and register. And all you do is take your meal ticket up to your receipt, sign it, put your phone number on. You might be the lucky winner. Thanks to Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, along with Thomas over at Denny's. What a day. Tomorrow, great big annual Christmas party. Don't you miss it. Of course, you can stop in anytime, all the time, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at America's Diner. Almost forgot to say that. Oh, real quick, before I get things rolling this morning, I want your involvement this morning on any and all topics, so give us a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, many seniors live at home alone for as long as possible, but maybe that's not the safest deal. Loneliness. And, of course, Deanne, can you come get that phone, please? And we'd like to also mention all the safety hazards and injuries, poor nutrition, mismedication, all of this and more because of not living in a place where they can help take care of you. And that's Pomerell Place, a place for senior living at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. The number to call for more information, 677-8212. Don't forget, Pomerell Place, offering the ability for seniors to maintain their independence and both safely and comfortably. You give them a call today. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I mentioned a moment ago that I owe everything I have in my life and my career to an animal, and that animal is the horse. Seriously, if it weren't for horses, I wouldn't have attained and achieved and had the great career that I had. I'm so blessed. And today is called the National Day of the Horse. And it's really kind of interesting how this came into fruition. A very good friend of mine, and I know you've seen him on television and have watched and followed his career as a professional rodeo cowboy, Ty Murray, Mr. All-Around, was the one that really instigated, promoted, and helped put in effect the National Day of the Horse. And he did it on his mother's birthday, today, December 13th. And he pushed through, and the National Day of the Horse encourages people of the United States to be very mindful of the contribution of horses to the economy, history, and character of the United States. And I owe everything to that four-legged wonder, the horse. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
One of my younger years, I had something happen to me that caused traumatic head injury. And say what, it wasn't for my horse and the horse that I had at the time, my therapist and the counselor that I went through to help me get through that rough part of my life. That's what helped pull me through. There's something better than when you just can't get it out, you just need something, and your horse is always willing to listen to you, even though they can't talk back, they do pay attention. And they are caring. And you bring up horses, I got a deep respect and love for them animals.
Well, I'm glad you called on that, Riley, because the old saying, there's something about the outside of a horse that's good for the inside of a man. And it's really true because from when I was 5 years old and had polio, all the way through my life, I've been with horses and in the horse business or involved in the horse business. And I owe everything I have to the horses, and that's why I give a special salute and shout out to the National Day of the Horse.
I'm not downplaying any other animal. My dog, 13 years, had a big part in my life, too. But I tell you what, that horse, the horses that I had that took me places, helped me do things, and helped me just get over myself, I guess you could say, in some aspects of life. But anyway, it's a good thing to have them around.
Absolutely. Thanks, Riley. Appreciate it, buddy. He's gone. All right. Thank you. National Day of the Horse. And, I look back and on my career, and I thank my dad for providing me horses since I was 5 years old, and never been without one, and or many. And, of course, I just absolutely look back on things that have been occurrences in my life that I look at with fondness. There's always something connected to the horse or horse industry, and I'm very, very appreciative. Caller, I'm going to ask you to stand by just a minute. I'll be right with you. I want to talk about our dear friends that do a job that nobody else wants to do, and that's, of course, Dino's Septic Service over in Rupert. My goodness, liquid waste removal, septic inspection, septic tanks and drain fields installed, septic tanks pumped. You don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. They do it and do a great job. Fast, fair, friendly service. Yep, and that big truck that says smells cargo on the way. Dino's Septic Service in Rupert, 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. Caller, thank you. Good morning.
Zeb?
Yes, sir.
Everybody should have a good horse, a good dog, and a good wife in his lifetime.
And may I suggest to you...
Put them in the order that you want.
Yeah.
And whatever suits you.
Bob... Bob, just a minute. Don't hang up. Don't hang up. You still there?
Yep, I'm still here.
And in my life, I can honestly say that I've been blessed with more than one good horse, more than one good dog, but I've had a lovely lady stay with me for 46 years. I had to get that in there.
Okay, so which order are you putting these things in? Wife, horse, dog, dog, horse?
Oh, Bob, I am not stupid. Naturally, I'm going to go wife, horse, and then dog. Be careful, buddy. Don't trap me in a sandbar.
Merry Christmas.
All right. Thank you very much. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And talking about something, I know I'm kind of centering it on me this morning, and I don't mean to for this first couple of minutes, but whether it was the Olympics in 96 that I was chosen to announce, that again was because of the horse industry. Whether it was going to Spain and speaking and doing many of the events at the World Equestrian Games, again, the horse industry, the National Finals Rodeo, the list goes on and on. I owe everything to those animals that stand out there and nicker and neigh at you, and they can become your best friends. The horse. Today is the National Day of the Horse. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. If you've got some aches and pains and you're having a little trouble trying to recoup from surgery or a bad fall on the ice or whatever. Oh, by the way, that black ice with that fog, man, it's slippery. I went to a stop sign yesterday and I thought, whoa, we're at the carnival. Anyway, be careful out there. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation can help you and will help you at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. All you need to do is call them, make an appointment, and start going in there diligently so they can provide the exercises, a hydrotherapy pool, all of this and so much more. 678-1191. 678-1191, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. You call them today. They are absolutely the best. And how about giving me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I've got to talk to you in just a moment about what I think, and this is purely my own opinion, a very dysfunctional family that has, on behalf of the father of this family, everything tipped upside down as far as priorities are concerned. Excuse me, and I want to ask if you agree with me. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Right now, I also want to remind you about our friends with Keelix Supplements. You know, we've been talking about Keelix on this program for almost a month now, and I urge you to get a hold of Scott Mitten. That's the man. He's the representative in this area, and the number to call him is 435-230-1175. He can help you to provide your cattle what they need. A very important supplement of vitamins, minerals for your livestock, whether it's beef cattle, dairy cattle, horses, sheep, goats, whatever. They've got a variety of formulas. Can I say that again? Formulas that are chelated minerals for better absorption. And believe me, Scott knows which ones will best befit your situation. So please get a hold of them today. Keelix Supplements, especially during these winter months. Keelix Supplements, Scott Mitten, 435-230-1175. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I ran across a very, very small story yesterday in the USA Today sports section. And I'm going to read you, I've highlighted some of the most important portions of this story, and I want to get your reaction to this and see if you think the way I do about this. LaMelo and LiAngelo Ball. Now remember, those are the two younger sons of LeVar Ball, the big mouth father, and his other son, Lonzo Ball, does play for the Los Angeles Lakers. But listen to this. LaMelo and LiAngelo Ball may have signed a one-year contract with, and I hope I say this closely to correctness, Viator Prienno. It's a professional basketball team in the first division of the Lithuanian League. And because the signings had not yet been announced yesterday publicly, LaMelo, 16 years of age, and LiAngelo, 19 years of age, who are the younger brothers of Alonzo Ball, will be going possibly to play for the Lithuanian Professional Basketball League in January. Now, what did I say their ages were? LaMelo, 16, LiAngelo, 19. Being pushed and coerced by this father, LeVar Ball, this human cannonball, to go play professional basketball in Lithuania? 16 and 19? What about their educations? What about their educations? What about if all of a sudden a torn ACL or some other debilitating injury that would cripple them for the rest of their lives and not be able to play basketball, of which dads pushed them all into, and nothing to fall back on as far as a job, learning maybe to be a lawyer, a doctor, a pharmacist, whatever? What about their education? 16 and 19, and this father's pushing them into professional basketball over in Lithuania? What are your thoughts about this? Maybe I'm way off the beam here. Call me at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Maybe you think it's all right. Maybe you think that's everything's just hunky-dory. I'd like to hear from you. Give me a call. Well, I'm waiting for your call. I'm going to give some Merry Christmas wishes from Streamline Precision, our good buddy Tim and the crew at 120 South, 100 West of Burley. Their expertise in manufacturing and contracting. They have everything you need under one roof, and they are also experts in excavation. Give them a call, 678-9204. Streamline Precision, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Along with Dot Foods, 1541 West 27th in Burley, and they'd like to say a big thank you to the Mini-Cassia area for all their support for making Dot Foods the nation's largest food industry redistributor. They say Merry Christmas from Dot Foods in Burley. Oh, and one more quick note about Streamline Precision. They want you to walk up to somebody that's in uniform, a policeman or someone in the armed services, shake their hand and say thank you. These men and women put their lives on the line every day so that America is still the best and greatest place in the world. Thank you from Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. I think we have a disgruntled family there, and if they're not happy here, why don't they just move to Lithuania, give up their American citizenship, and stay there?
You know, Tony,
Don't miss him here.
I don't know what the situation is with this father, this LeVar Ball, but I'm really concerned for these kids, these boys. I mean, you're talking about a 16-year-old kid that's going to be moved over to Europe and play in the Lithuanian Professional Basketball League at 16 and the other one 19. It almost sounds like the dad has some kind of a charismatic hold over these kids to the point where they can't say, no, Dad, we want to stay in school and get an education.
Well, maybe the young ones have been programmed to hate America and everything about it.
I don't know that.
What they want, hey, I won't miss them.
Well, I feel sorry for the kids. I mean, maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. Maybe years ago I would have said nothing about it, but now looking back on my life and everything, I can honestly say that I think this is absolutely almost child abuse to take like the 16 and the 19-year-olds. What about their education? The one hasn't even finished high school yet, and putting them over in a situation being in a Lithuanian European professional basketball league, and the mother, I got to tell you this, Tony, I did a little research thanks to my wife checking on some things, and the mother's name is Tina. And I was always asking people in the media, why isn't she speaking out? Why isn't she sharing her opinion about this? And I found out, and it's sad, that the mother had a stroke not that many months ago, and she can't talk. Well, the father, the husband, LeVar Ball, is making up for it, and he's making all the major decisions, and I think they're all the wrong ones.
Well, you know, you get a young person when they're small, and you can program just about anything into their head, hatred to the United States and hatred for the whites and everything else.
Well,
this is probably what happened in that household. Maybe that woman was on so much pressure all these years, she just broke down.
I will make mention of the fact that it is a mixed marriage of races. The wife is Caucasian, and LeVar Ball is a black man.
Special report. Yeah. Alabama is...
And Wheels, do not let that happen. Thank you. I appreciate it. And anyway, Tony, God bless you. Merry Christmas to you and Mary. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye now.
Don't forget Sophie's Chatterbox with the best of cookies. And we give away cookies every Monday, a dozen cookies. And we'll do it again next Monday as we draw closer and closer to Christmas. Sophie's Chatterbox, right on the Rupert Square. Absolutely a great place to go eat. Great restaurant. Super bakery. Don't forget Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert. Really nice people. What are your thoughts about this? Come on, folks, give me a call. I mean, do you think it's okay? It's all right for this family? They seem very dysfunctional. The dad is absolutely making, supposedly, a lot of money being the agent, if you will, for these boys and pushing them into various situations. Remember, it was LeVar Ball that pulled his one son out of UCLA. Why? Because after that one son, the young man by the name of LiAngelo had been on the UCLA basketball team on a tour over to China, remember? And that young man, evidently with not a lot of parental upbringing, was, along with two other ball players, accused of shoplifting. And had it not been for our government and the interceding of President Trump, that kid might be still over in China serving 10 years hard labor. But now the father is moving them way over to Lithuania. Even the young 16-year-old, that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. To play professional basketball in Lithuania. This is wrong. This is wrong. Don't forget the urgent cares. My goodness, 3 of them to serve you and your family and help save you money. Help save you money on your health care. Absolutely. We have Riverview Urgent Care at 382 North Overland and Burley. We have the Urgent Care of Jerome at 133 West Avenue A. We have Urgent Care of Twin Falls at 2392 Addison Avenue East and Twin. And, of course, they take care of so many things for you at a much lower cost. That's why they're saving you money. Whether it's cuts and you need stitches or sprains, strains, and fractures, care for the whole family. And remember this, you get treated, not seated. No appointment necessary, and they're open 7 days a week with extended hours, and always with a qualified provider on staff. The Urgent Cares. Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Urgent Care of Twin Falls, and Urgent Care of Jerome. Please remember, they are helping take care of you. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'd like to have your opinion on that while I'm waiting for you to call in. As you may or may not know, the Democrat in Alabama, Doug Jones, supposedly, and I've got to underline this a little bit, supposedly won the senatorial seat from Alabama last evening. Now, I've been checking with some of the people back east in New York and Washington that are on top of all these things, and it was a really, really close finish. And if it gets to the point where it is like 0.5% different, you can bet there's going to be a recount. You can bet this is all going to be done over again as far as, well, we got so many thousand here, we got so many thousand here. They're going to demand a recount. That's how close it was early this morning when I was talking to some people back in New York, and we'll see what's going to happen on that. But the evil that was involved in this on both sides. Again, the allegations on the right with the Republican candidate, Judge Roy Moore, and the evil on the left with the pro-abortion and pro-Planned Parenthood with Doug Jones. I tell you what, that was a tough one to call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Why? Wheels, all I got was a dial tone. What'd you do?
I'm not sure. I went to go ahead and put him through, but I'm assuming obviously something came up, and so hopefully
obviously.
Call back in.
Okay, we'll ask that person to call back at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, if we have National Guardsmen and women out in the audience this morning, I would like to extend to you congratulations. Today is the National Guard's 381st birthday. 381 birthdays from the National Guard. Great, tough, determined guardsmen. Always there to do the job, protecting and serving us. Congratulations to the National Guard, and happy birthday. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Zeb. And, it's really interesting. If you tell a lie often enough, I think it was Hitler or one of his aides said, it becomes fact in the people's minds. And so the mainstream media was successful in taking a constitutional conservative and just absolutely burying him in allegations. And Senator Rachin, of course, a lot of the Republican establishment, it came out and they were judge, jury, and executioner on the situation. So it was a victory
victory for the Democrats and the Republican establishment.
Right.
To get a Democrat in there, I guess they figure a socialist will work that loves to kill babies through abortion is going to be somebody they can work with, rather than having Roy Moore, a constitutionalist that believes in the tradition of our founding fathers, with the Constitution and the Ten Commandments and so forth. It's really a sad situation, but it shows you the power of the media.
Yep.
And this Evan McMullen from Utah spent $500,000, and we don't know where his money's coming from, but he came up here, and ran against Trump. And $500,000 in TV and e-ads on email. And I have suspicions that George Soros may be helping finance him, because I don't think he's has that kind of money personally, but maybe he does.
Well,
what's your take on this whole thing, Deb?
Well, I got to be very honest with you, Adrian, and this is one of the races in politics that I have to turn my nose up, and the stench is not good. Number one, let me say this again very clearly for the audience, that the allegations do not make Roy Moore guilty. However, the allegations were enough to condemn the man in the polls and sway the election over to Doug Jones. I will say, and I said it the other day on this program, and I stand behind my statement, that if these allegations are proven by one woman, absolutely true, I will absolutely condemn Judge Roy Moore. I will condemn him because he used Christianity as a shield. On the other side, Doug Jones absolutely is a man that is of left values, absolutely pro-gay marriage, pro-LGBT, pro-Planned Parenthood, pro-abortion, and I'm telling you, the stench that was running in this race in Alabama is absolutely terrible.
Well, the whole thing is Judge Moore had run several times for public office, because he was a constitutional conservative. It all stems back to our education system, Zeb, in the sense that our kids today are not being taught about the Constitution and the tradition of our founding fathers. They have no concept of the Christianity, the heritage that we have. And, of course, they took prayer and Bible reading out of public school back over 50 years ago. And so we have a generation now of two generations, and the millennials voted strongly, of course, for Doug Jones. And most of it was against Roy Moore. But the allegations, and you had Senator Risch was right amongst that, and I said, he's an attorney. Do you believe in due process? Do allegations make you guilty? I mean, it's unbelievable that he and, of course, McConnell and the Republican establishment basically did not support him, and Roy Moore was short on funds, and Doug Jones had, a lot of media, and Evan McMullen was right in the middle of all of that. And it really bothers me that our education system is such, and when the allocations came out from the Washington Post, it threw up a great big red flag. And most of the gal that supposedly signed his or her annual, school book or whatever, come out and said that was a phony deal with Gloria Allred. Well, this is the kind of stuff that didn't make it out through ABC and the other media. It only came out basically on Fox News and a few places.
I got to run, Adrian, but wait a minute. Hold on.
The thing is, do we want Venezuela? Do we want Bangladesh? Do we want Russia, China, Cuba? That is what socialism brings on.
Absolutely.
Death and destruction, slavery for the people, starving to death. That's what socialism brings. It never works, and Doug Jones is a lucky man to have all the media behind him, including the established Republicans. And it's really a sad day in America for that kind of stench to come from both parties. And anyway,
I got to run. Thank you, Adrian. God bless you. I got a commercial break. I got to get in. Thank you, and thank you very much for your call. And I agree with him. Don't forget, too, our friends at Berry Equipment and Rental. Oh, my goodness. 3 locations serving you. You know where they are. South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Oh, yes. The Burley location, I can see Juan standing there right now smiling like a Cheshire cat. Don't forget, they've got all the rentals over there. I mean, well, if you need like lift rentals or skid steer rentals, they've got it all. And they've got the retail equipment sales. And by the way, they got all the Bobcats in every shape and form over there. And if you don't know how to run one, oh boy, they got a sandbox out behind. They can teach you. You're going to love it. Hey, great people to work with. Berry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts. Jerome, Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. You stop in and see them today. My next story this morning, as I almost knocked the microphone over, yeah, you heard it at home. My next story makes me so mad that when I heard about this last night, and then I followed up on it again this morning with more information, it honestly makes me want to clench my fist and hit something. And this is about Colin Kaepernick again. This kid that graduated from the University of Nevada at Reno, the Wolfpack, and had the whole career of professional football laid out in front of him to the point where he could have really attained and achieved some special things, played for the 49ers, and then just decided to go AWOL on common thinking and right thinking, and he started wearing socks to practice with the 49ers that showed our policemen as pigs. And then he led the charge, as ugly as it has been, for these stupid NFL athletes to sit or kneel during our national anthem. But now the man has done something else that absolutely needs to be taken care of somehow, and I don't know what the answer is. He's back in the news. This jug-headed, stupid young man asked for permission by New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio to go and speak at Rikers Island Prison in New York to the prisoners with a closed door, no cameras, no media speech. And I understand from some of the people, like Correction Department spokesman Peter Thorne, said that this guy was in there with a sharing of a message of hope and inspiration. But they found out that it wasn't that way. And now the guards that work for Rikers Island Prison, they're really, really afraid because they're thinking that all he did was encourage inmates to attack jail guards. Because police, in this warped young man's mind, are all pigs. Why did Bill de Blasio, that big, dumb, incredible hulk, mayor of New York City, let him go and speak to these prisoners? And here's what one person said: this is yet another brazen display of hypocrisy of this mayor, Bill de Blasio, who pretends to support us, the policemen in public, yet does everything possible to jeopardize our security in private. Oh my goodness. Now he's going to speak to prisoners. Can you imagine behind closed doors that talking to these people and the insurrection and the hatred and the violence that could be stirred up against these people, the prison guards, people that work in the prison? They don't get paid nearly enough for what they have to take and what they have to do. And Colin Kaepernick, the main instigator of more problems. I don't know about you folks, but every time I hear the name Colin Kaepernick, bang, I want to let something have it. This kid is absolutely a wreck looking for a train. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to remind you, we're going to do the weather right now. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids with the Doctor of Audiology, Christine Pickup. My, oh my, she has studied years and years and years, and she is an audiology doctor for the past 10 years, and believe me, she knows everything about sound and hearing. Call her, don't go away, I'll be right there. And she urges you, if you're noticing a diminishment in your hearing, to give them a call for an appointment for a hearing screening, 312-0957. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room. Caller, I'll be right there, but here's Gina with the weather.
Hazy and foggy as we make our way through the work week, and that's pretty much your weather forecast here for Seventh Ranch. We are looking at areas of dense freezing fog before noon. If we can make it past that, partly sunny skies for today, high of 33. Winds out of the east, northeast, right around 5 miles an hour. For tonight, patchy freezing fog, mostly cloudy skies with a low of 17. That's going to continue for tomorrow. Widespread haze in areas of freezing fog before noon, just hazy afternoon. Partly sunny skies with a high of 33. For Thursday night, patchy freezing fog, mostly cloudy, low of about 21. Then for Friday, pretty much the same. Patchy freezing fog in the morning and in the evening hours. Widespread haze during the day, partly sunny skies, highs close to 40 with an overnight low near 26. That's your weather for Seventh Ranch.
And thank you very much, Gina. Brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And, of course, they urge you to call for a hearing screening. I did. You can, too. And they helped me. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. 312-0957. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
I heard this thing earlier. I wanted to bring it up again about Kaepernick.
Yes.
All he's doing is inciting rioting in the prisons, and he is going to encourage the people, when they get out, to join the terrorists to attack America. I don't trust this guy. He hates this country. He doesn't want to obey the flag or honor the flag in any way. And de Blasio is going to let him go in there?
Yeah.
After what happened in the subway here in New York?
Yeah. I mean, there's no positiveness about this whatsoever. Kaepernick is absolutely a despicable young man. I have no use for him. Tony, I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you for calling back. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
God bless you, man. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Zeb. You got some great people that you advertise for, that Mountain Harrison Audiology. I'm so glad I went and seen them. I can hear. But Colin Kaepernick, he just needs a schoolyard whooping. Not a barnyard whooping, because that's for men. He needs a schoolyard whooping. He's just a little boy thinking he can cause trouble because he didn't get what he wanted and be a star NFL football player or something or other. He just needs a flat right out whooping.
You know, what I don't understand about Kaepernick is that he had the world on a silver platter. He had everything out in front of him. Why would he want to, unless somebody got into his head, somebody got into his thinking, somebody changed him? I don't know what happened to this kid, but the hatred and the vileness that he displays through his speech and his actions is absolutely despicable.
What I see from the outside, and I don't chase football, I never followed it really, but from what I've seen from the public eye is he wasn't doing very good as a quarterback, and he started going downhill and feared that he would lose out. And to keep a hold of that, he tried to start some kind of incitement of some kind, something to keep him going in the NFL, so they dare not fire him. You know?
Yeah.
You can't fire me because of this.
Well,
and he didn't get it, so now he's pouting and he's throwing a tantrum. You know, go off and on your merits. Everybody else has to work and get better yourself.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers, he is not.
That is correct.
All right, buddy. Thank you for your call. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
You too.
I just don't understand this kid. I don't. And I don't also understand any kind of good that can come from letting him into Rikers Island prison. Holy man, there's some bad dudes in there. And letting him speak behind closed doors? You gotta be kidding me. Caller, good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like getting a fox to guard the hen house, isn't it?
Oh, Doug, this is, and a little bit of feedback there, Wheels, on this call. This is so insane that Bill de Blasio, who I think has got the IQ of a box of sand, absolutely should have never allowed this permission.
Yeah, you're giving a box of sand a lot of credit.
I know I am. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and Kaepernick, I've read several reports that he is converted to Muslim.
I also have that. I'm not going to say it as a guaranteed bona fide fact, but I have heard that also, and it's all the more reason for my hatred. I guess I'm going to come out and say it. No, everybody's so afraid to use that word. My hatred for Colin Kaepernick is such that he's denigrated our policemen, he's denigrated our military, he's denigrated and disrespected our flag and our country, he's disrespected those that supported him when he was in professional football with huge $1 million contracts. Why shouldn't I dislike this guy?
Exactly. I agree with you there. And I agree with that last caller, too, that he was very talented, but I think he got very, his ego got bigger than him. And I think he got benched, and he thought, well, shoot, I'm going to do something else to draw attention to me. And he's basically taken a page out of Al Sharpton's book, to be a race baiter, and he's going to make millions on being a race baiter, just like Al Sharpton has.
You know, I just wonder what got into this kid's head. I got to go back to square one, like playing a Monopoly game. You always start off on some of the poverty-stricken areas like Baltic Avenue, you know. Yeah. Well, this kid came up from the University of Nevada, Reno, had the world handed to him. Hey, you're going to play for the San Francisco 49ers. Hey, you're going to be in a Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden, Doug, something happened to this kid's mindset. Something happened to his work ethic. Something happened to his practice ethic, and he went from one of the top-rated quarterbacks down to one of the lowest-rated quarterbacks in the NFL. Something happened to this mindset.
Well, this is very true. Whether it be fame and fortune and he couldn't handle the money or something. I personally, from what I've read, and a couple of the sources were pretty reliable, I think he converted to a Muslim and changed his whole attitude, and I think that was his downfall.
But can you imagine, like you started the conversation, there he is talking behind closed doors with no media to report anything to these bad dudes, and they are bad dudes at Rikers Island. What can he do for inspiration for these guys?
Well, his dislike for the cops is a plus for those guys, because I'm sure they feel the same way.
Oh, I'm really worried about this kid. Somebody's got to him. Somebody has got to his mindset, what's left of his mind. Anyway, Doug, God bless you, man. Thank you for your call.
Okay, and let's help our senior centers, guys. Everybody out there, do what you can.
All right, buddy.
If it's $1, $100, or whatever, let's give them a hand, and let's feed the homebound seniors and take care of them.
All right. Merry Christmas to you, my dear friend. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
I want to remind you about our major sponsor, and that's, of course, our Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Woo! They are all over the valley, serving you and providing the best in tires, providing the best in brake service, front-end alignments, shocks and struts, batteries, and providing the best in wintertime driving safety. I'm telling you, you better get ready for wintertime driving. We're going to wake up in the next couple of days and go, uh-oh, it's going to be there, the snow, the ice, the muck, the yuck, everything. So make sure you check out the traction tires for your vehicle before all that yuck hits, okay? Stop over and see Lane and Rupert and Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. I've been so blessed to have them as our major sponsor, and they are the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Let's see, what else have I got here for you real quick? This deal about Kaepernick, I think we're going to find out a lot more unfortunately, about what was said behind closed doors to these prisoners, and I don't think we're going to like it. Don't forget, tomorrow we're going to be broadcasting live and direct for the entirety of the program from 8 to 11 at Denny's at 611 North Overland in Burley for their annual Christmas party. It's going to be the entirety of our program, 8 to 11. Door prizes, Santa Claus, Dusty Fisher and his great singers, both Burley High School and Junior High, and you can register for that recliner that's going to be given away by Lee's Furniture, Floors and More, Jeff and the great crew at 459 Overland in Burley. You can get in there today, sign your meal ticket, and put your phone number on there, put it in the box, and you might be the lucky winner of a beautiful Flex Steel men's recliner, thanks to Lee's Furniture, Floors and More. All of this at Denny's, America's Diner, tomorrow for their annual Christmas party. Don't you miss it. Right now, my old buddy Wheels is ready to take us on up to the news break with a little Christmas music. We'll be back in about 7 minutes. Oh, my goodness sakes. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And we're back in the London fog again out there. My goodness, that fog is thick. Be careful driving out there, please. Excuse me, got a little frog in my throat this morning. Zebeth Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, get ready for wintertime driving. And then also some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Way Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this free land. Western Way Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal.
Western Way Services, always at your disposal. And, you know, maybe you need a little extra room in your rooms. I mean, like your living room, your den, whatever. And you don't know, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do with that grandfather clock? Or what are we going to do with that old chair? Well, have you thought about the Go Minis portable storage units? And you can get those through Western Way Services. And you can have them brought over to your house. You can fill them up. You can store them on your property. Or you can have Western Way stored on their property. Absolutely. Give them a call today. 734-6969. Always at your disposal. Western Waste Services. They are the best. I want to remind you, too, about some dear, dear friends of ours that wish you a very Merry Christmas with your family, and that's, of course, Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. And the number to call for information, 436-5636. Information on what? Well, we all should take the time and the effort to understand about pre-planning for funerals, to make sure that it's just not thrown into the lap of our relatives, and I urge you to give them a call and find out more. Hanson Mortuary, always upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity in serving you and your families. Call them today, 436-5636, Hanson Mortuary in Rupert. By the way, before we go to my next guest, my buddy, I'm going to remind you, Merry Christmas wishes from the Fairview Inn and Suites by Marriott at 230 West 7th North in Burley. Here's the number to remember, and I'm going to tell you why in just a moment. 677-5000. You call and make a reservation for your friends and relatives that are going to be staying over in your area for Christmas. Maybe they think they're going to stay at your house. You realize with 8, 9, 10 extra people, the line going into your bathroom, not going to work. You get a hold of the Fairview Inn and Suites by Marriott and let them come visit you, but stay at the Fairview Inn and Suites by Marriott and use their bathroom, okay, for Christmas time, 677-5000. Also, a very Merry Christmas from Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair. My buddy, good morning, Doug, at 635 21st Street in Heyburn. Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. And this guy always says that remember the reason for the season, and that's the birth of Jesus. Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair in Heyburn, wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and we have with us a dear friend of mine, and up front, I want to say this because I was shocked yesterday. I came home, and there is a parcel waiting for me, and I think you're the man that sent it, Chicago Cub door mats for my pickup, and floor mats, I should say. Thank you so much, my dear friend Dave Bego.
You're welcome, Zeb. I wanted to make your holiday special.
You did, and there was no name on it or anything, and we opened it up, and we sat there looking at the inside, and I thought, holy cow, these are just really nice floor mats, and there was no name, and then all of a sudden it dawned on me, there's only one guy I know that would do that, and that's you, and thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, just make sure you don't get them dirty, okay?
Remember, I'm a cowboy, okay? I appreciate that. I want to talk to you a little bit about chain migration. I want to ask you about what your thoughts are on this, because there could be a family coming in like we've seen with the bomber that fortunately was foiled in the subway network of New York City, and nobody really got hurt except him. But he came in with about 50 others in his chain migration that was allowed. What are your thoughts on this?
I think everybody should come in on their own merits, period. That's the way this country was started, and after we, went through our initial migration of people from Europe and started this country, I think they realized that you had to protect your borders, and that's what we got to do.
Well, yeah, but we're not doing that. And yesterday I was listening to a very noted professor from Stanford University, and this lady was very emphatic that she is pro-immigration, but she said our vetting system isn't even an nth of the degree that it should be to know who these people are.
Well, that's exactly right. And, I think we have the programs in place to do it. Problem is, it's not being exercised by our immigration authorities and that, and it's time that we get back to what the laws that were established and that, and then people have to go through it, and they have to go through it very, thoroughly. And unfortunately, we went through the Obama administration, who just relaxed everything and said, just let everybody in, and the big reason that was all done, Zeb, and it's funny, I had a friend send me a cartoon of it this morning, is they had Obama being asked in a cartoon saying, why are you for all this immigration and open borders and all that? And he says, because they all vote Democrat.
How true. But we can't have too many more of these circumstances where we had the mad Muslim run a truck through a bike path and kill all those people and maim so many others, and then going all the way back to 911 and then going forward, San Bernardino, California, etc. This one, fortunately, was a botched attempt because of the ineptness of this young man, fortunately. But what about the next one, or the one after that? I mean, how long before we're going to really crack down and say, we have a problem, and it's right here within the confines of the United States?
Well, that's exactly right. And I saw something this morning, and I didn't get a chance to read the whole article, but Trump came out and said he's really going to start cracking down on that stuff, and he's behind it. Of course, he's going to get a lot of pushback from the Democratic Party, because it's true. They believe that a lot of these people are going to vote for the Democratic Party, and it's the same with open borders. They know a lot of those people come across and they'll vote illegally and vote for the Democratic Party. And the Democratic Party sees themselves, even though they won in Alabama yesterday, they see themselves in a death spiral, and they're going to do anything they can to get voters in for their party.
Let's talk a little bit about that election, to which it's not really solidified yet, as I understand it from talking to some of my contact sources back in D.C. and also New York. If it gets to where the possibility there was only 0.5% different, they will demand and get a recount on the vote between Judge Roy Moore and also Doug Jones. But the vote itself was really sleazy, and I had to hold my nose talking about either candidate. On the one hand, you've got allegations, which the media has already been judge, jury, and executioner, and said that Roy Moore is guilty. On the other hand, you had a Democrat that absolutely was pro-abortion. He was pro-LGBT gay rights, gay marriage, was really a big fan of Planned Parenthood. I mean, boy, that was a bad election to really have to vote in.
Yeah. It's sad, and but if you look at it, the Democrats really pushed to get people out to the polls, and unfortunately, Republicans didn't do as good a job of that. And it'd be interesting to see what the final numbers come in at, and see if they're going to be a recount or not. I certainly hope so.
Let me ask you this question, and you know Mike Pence, and he's a friend of yours, our vice president. Right now, under the current climate of what's going on in Washington, D.C., with the allegations, the innuendos, and all the negativity against this administration, fair question. How stable, and I'm not talking about his mental health, I'm talking about how stable is Trump, do you think, as president for the future going forward?
I think Trump is stable. I think he's a smart man. He's a great businessman, and he understands how to get things done, and he's accomplished a lot. And it's funny. I was at a dinner last night with some people, and one of the ladies actually used to work for President Bush, and she says that she likes Trump too, but like many people I've heard, she'd like to get him get a little more professional and control his tweets, and just continue to get out in front of people. And that personally, kind of like he did down in Florida. Instead of doing that, though, I wish he would have done it in Alabama, because I think that would have solidified the race for Moore. But it's interesting. Most of them would like him to get kind of off that high horse of his tweeting and calling people crazy names and that.
I agree. We've got a caller with a question for you, Dave. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Thank you.
Yes, gentlemen. Doug Jones, I don't know when this term ends, but it isn't going to be very long, a year or something. I don't know exactly how long he'll be there. But his chances of getting reelected will be slim, and especially in some of the ways that he was elected. And so that is to me, is a non-issue. I mean, I realize it can affect things in the immediate future, but I don't think that he'll be able to hold up in the future. But with Franken, his seat, I don't know when his seat was over with, but, you remember how I think it was Norm Coleman, there was 300 votes difference in the state of Minnesota. I don't know what the population of that state is, but 300, and somehow Franken pulled 300 out of a trunk of a car and won. And, maybe there's just a little bit of bad taste in their mouth after electing that, whatever you want to call him, that Frankenstein. And so, I don't know. One more quick comment I want Dave to answer is, what is the deal with Sessions? I hear that he's either compromised or incompetent, but, he needs to step up, and maybe he should have stayed as Senator of Alabama. I'll hang up.
That's really a good point. And, Dave, I was going to ask you that about Jeff Sessions also. What are the parameters of a recusal, and can he come back into this issue even after administering a recusal to what's going on with this event?
Yeah, I don't know if he can or not, from a legal standpoint or not. The thing is, Zeb, I'm not sure whether he did it because he wanted to do it or because he was told he needed to do it. We really don't have the background on it, but I think Sessions has some good points to him in that. But it would be nice to get him back in and step up. And but I've got a feeling that he's being told not to.
I've got another story I want you to comment on this morning. We do this every week, is have kind of a potpourri of things that are going on in the news. And this one just infuriated me this morning. You know who LeVar Ball is. You know who his son that plays for the Lakers right now, and that's Lonzo. Well, he's got two younger sons. One is LaMelo at 16 years of age, and the other, LiAngelo, at 19, that was at UCLA and then was picked up for shoplifting in China. Long story short, the dad took him out of UCLA, etc. Now they are supposedly have signed a contract to play professional basketball in Lithuania. 16 and 19. What about their education? This father is insane. I'd like to have your thoughts.
Yeah, it's sad. You'd like to see kids work through their education process and then get out into the work environment. And then, if they can play basketball and they can do that, that's fine. Now, the other side of it, though, is that, if they've got a good job over there and they're going to make decent money in that, if they're smart kids, they'll go out and, in the meantime, and continue their education. And it's like I've told people, and Zeb, maybe I've told you this, but I had a basketball scholarship to play in college, and but I still needed some money to do other things. And even though I'd go to class during the day and basketball practice, and I also played baseball practice at night, I still had a job later at night pumping gas. That's back in the days where we actually had people that pumped gas in our cars for us. And I just think people need to understand you got to work the whole process and improve yourself and get your education and persevere and work hard. So we'll see what happens.
I'll make allowances on the 19-year-old, but I will not make allowances, and I will not back up that I'm right, everybody else is wrong. That 16-year-old has no business signing a pro contract in Lithuania when he should be concentrating on A, being a kid, B, being a good student, and then look at a professional career.
Well, I tend to agree with that too, Zeb, and it's sad to see, but you don't know if he would have got that opportunity, staying at home and being around his dad and that. So hopefully it'll work out for him.
The other story that absolutely set me over the edge this morning was our old buddy that absolutely has made a fool out of himself, but yet he's disrupted respect for our country and our flag in the NFL, and that's Colin Kaepernick. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but he was invited to speak to the inmates at New York's Rikers Island, thanks to Bill de Blasio in New York, the mayor. And it was behind closed doors, no cameras, no media. And what kind of a message of hate would this nincompoop spread to those jailed inmates?
Yeah, it'd be terrible to hear what he had to say, and it's sad. But de Blasio is one of those people, and I think we talked about it last week. He passed a law in New York City where especially at restaurants and food chains and fast food places and all that, the employees can be forced to pay union, or they don't call them union dues, but fees, and that go to what they call independent sources that like work centers and things like that are actually controlled by the unions like the SEIU. So basically what it is forcing payment to help the unions with their political agenda and their own pocketbook. And this is the type of guy de Blasio is.
How does he get reelected? I mean, Bill de Blasio, honestly, I've heard a lot of people that are in politics and a lot of my contacts back in New York City that helped me. They said the man is not the sharpest knife in the drawer. He's not the most innovative with ideas. He has to be led by the hand to get a lot of things done. How does he stay in office?
Because he's out there doing what these far left and the union people want. And, the SEIU, they're big in New York City, and of course, what I just told you about the fees that these employees have to pay. The SEIU controls de Blasio, and so they're the ones out there helping him get reelected and telling him what to say to brainwash people, and that's the sad part of what's going on in New York.
With your books that you've written, The Devil at My Doorstep and The Devil at Our Doorstep, you expose the SEIU for what they really are. But now, have they, I don't know how to phrase this and be politically correct, but have they taken a hiatus? Have they kind of shrunk into the background like rats going into the dark of a den, or are they really coming forth with more ideas how to disrupt our business world?
No, they're coming forth more ideas, but they're doing it in a different manner than when they attacked me, where they were out there, and they're trying to get media and all that all the time and be exposed, and that they're kind of doing it more behind the scenes, and like this thing with de Blasio, and it just happened to get exposed in that, and they've and I've had people that from the SEIU that read my first book, and they send me things once in a while. But the SEIU, I got one the other day, the SEIU is going to refocus on the Midwest and go back after people there and that. So it's, they're quieter than they used to be, but they're doing the same things behind the scenes.
Right.
Okay?
Are you writing any more books? I need to ask you that. Are you going to take a little time during the Christmas break, perhaps, to start penning a new one?
I don't think so, but, I thought about doing some different things, so we'll just have to see what happens. We're pretty busy right now.
Well, I can tell you again, my dear friend, that the floor mats from the Chicago Cubs, my favorite baseball team, will be on the floor of my pickup in all 4 different locations with the seating, and every time I put my boot on that floor mat, I'll think of you.
Well, thank you, and I wish you and your wife and family a Merry Christmas, and all your listeners a Merry Christmas.
One of these years, buddy, you're going to go out to Colorado for Christmas, and we're going to meet you over there and have one of those 375 bottles of wine I owe you.
I'm looking forward to that.
All of them, or one at a time?
We can do all of them at once.
Okay, buddy. Thank you, Dave Bego. God bless you. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much.
Too.
Dave Bego, Indianapolis, Indiana, the author of The Devil at My Doorstep, The Devil at Our Doorstep, and he understands more so than anyone the problems with unionization in this country, especially through the SEIU. Got to pay some bills and want to remind everybody about some folks that have lived here in the state of Idaho and have helped the economy for our great state of Idaho, and it's Merry Christmas and Happy New Year wishes from your lamb and wool growers in the Mini-Cassia area, past and present. Hardworking, dedicated, strong individuals, Idahoans who have been a major part of Idaho's history and are really proud to be participating in Idaho's future. Quality lamb and wool products from, of course, the lamb and wool growers right here in the Mini-Cassia area, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Along with our friends over to Ark Animal Hospital, and this note's a real serious note from Dr. Bill and the crew over there at Ark Animal Hospital. Keep your dogs away from the banks of the river or ponds with that blue-green algae that's growing. It's deadly. That's the only way I can put it. There's no sense mincing the words. Your dogs will start suffering seizures and jaundice and vomiting and eventually death. It's a real serious situation with that blue-green algae. Keep them away from the waterways. Ark Animal Hospital is a mixed animal practice, meaning big or small, they love them all, and they want to make sure that your dogs stay healthy. Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. Number to call for more information, 678-1177. They do have the warm hearts for the cold noses. By the way, tomorrow is a big day. We're going to be over at Denny's restaurant for our annual Christmas party, and that leads me up to tell you that Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, the Santa's favorite place to shop, they have donated, and we're going to have a drawing for a beautiful Flex Steel men's recliner over there. We're going to do that about 10:45 tomorrow morning. Get into Denny's, enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner anytime, all the time. Sign your meal receipt and put your phone number on that, and you might be the lucky winner. And you'll also be a lucky winner if you stop in and participate in the biggest savings, the best values on everything for your home at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. No money down, no interest, up to 12 months on approved credit. Yep, it's Santa's favorite place to shop. All the bedroom sets and the dining room sets, all the recliners. Holy smokes, have they got a great big supply of recliners over there. You're going to love shopping with Jeff and the crew at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley, wishing you and yours a very, very Merry Christmas. We've got a guest in the studio. We're going to get right to that momentarily as soon as we quit having those little blurps from the network jump in on my ears. And we want to say thank you to Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. 436-4771 is the number to call. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 4. Don't forget, they've got all the new snowmobiles over there to get out and enjoy that angel dandruff that's going to be falling up in the hills this weekend. And they've got certain motorcycles and ATVs 20% off. And all accessories are 25% off for great Christmas gift giving. All of this and more, along with the best service department around. Nick and Randy, the whole crew at Let's Ride, wish you a very Merry Christmas, and stop in to Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, where the fun is sold. Real quick, while you're over in that area, don't forget to our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, the very best of life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and more. Todd's even wearing his Santa Claus suit over there. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert, 436-4424. Please call them today and make sure you're covered and protected for you, your business, and your family. Cameron and Siemens Insurance in Rupert. I'm very honored to have a gentleman with me in the studio, County Commissioner of Cassia County and the owner of Handy Truck Lines, Clay Handy. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Pretty good, but I'm not a county commissioner anymore.
I forgot. Past, I should have said past. Yeah. Former is a better word.
Yeah.
What are you doing in your spare time besides running a truck line?
Oh, there's always plenty to do. It seems like you get really busy doing something, and then when it goes away, you think you're going to have extra time, and there's never any.
You know, Clay, I can tell you, I'm an old man, probably older than you, and I am now saying that I've got more on my plate to do daily than I did when I was in my 50s.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just because it takes longer to get things done.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there. I wanted to talk to you today because you're so highly respected in the trucking and transportation industry, and I'm thankful that you're here this morning. I'm not going to mention names or companies or anything, but I've talked to numerous drivers and people in the transportation industry that are very concerned about their industry because of all the rules and regulations and big government kind of watching everything over their shoulder. What are your thoughts about this?
You know, with the electronic log, that's actually, I think, coming into existence. It's been threatened for 3 or 4 years, but now they're actually going to implement it. It doesn't change the rules any at all, but it changes a lot because the electronic logbook is so inflexible that the tiniest mistake during the day will put you in violation and mess up your whole day and your whole trip.
Now, give me a for instance in the life of a truck driver as to the tiniest infraction. Let's kind of discern what that might be.
Okay, so if a commercial driver drives for over 8 hours during the day, he has to take a 30-minute break.
Okay.
So when he takes that break on his electronic log, he logs off duty. And if by chance he logs back in and starts driving at 29 minutes and 38 seconds, he'll be in violation. And it'll show as a violation, a logbook violation.
Oh, my goodness. And then what takes place after that?
Well, that part we're not really sure yet what kind of enforcement they're going to do, but basically it would actually mean that if he were going down the road and were pulled over or stopped at a port of entry and they looked at his electronic log, it would show a violation, and he would have to take 10 hours off before he could start driving again.
10 hours?
10 hours. He'd have to do a restart.
That would totally destroy the delivery process.
Yeah, if it's less than, that would be one of their options. Another option would be if it's less than the 8 hours, then they could just force him to take the 30-minute break within the 8 hours. If it's over the 8 hours, because he can drive for 11 hours a day, then he would be in violation, and he'd have to take 10 hours off.
Clay, how many years have you been in the trucking industry?
Well, my grandfather started in 1928, and I think I've been working for 39 years.
Okay, now let's go back, of those 39 years, let's go back maybe 10, 15 years ago. Did you ever anticipate there would be this much of a thumb of the government on your business?
No, I always thought that 99% of the industry was very careful and very conscientious and safety-oriented. And it's just like so many other things in our society, the 1% drives the rules and the laws, and governments tend to have a knee-jerk reaction to anything that's negative and put together laws that are unworkable in a lot of ways and extremely difficult. But the logbook, it's the same scenario. If you're on your 10 hours off and you start driving 2 minutes before your 10 hours off,
2 minutes,
anything, even a second, because the electronic log is exact.
Yeah.
And so if you start a minute or two too early, then you're in violation.
And all of this is on a computer system.
It's on.
And the headquarters that discerns an infraction, where is all this looked at and discerned?
Well, right now, the system is in the truck, but it's available if you get pulled over at a port of entry, or even an officer stops you, then it's available and he can pull it out and look at it.
Wow.
But you know how electronics are. I mean, at some point in time, it could just be a transponder, and you drive by a point, and they pull you in because your transponder says you're in violation, and it could lead to be a real pain in the neck.
Or elsewhere. Let me ask you this then: the trucking industry. I'm assuming that this is a single driver and/or all companies, or are single drivers still immune from this?
No, everybody has the same set of rules. There is a local delivery exemption, and I think there might be a few ag exemptions that give you a little more hours. But basically, it's anyone that's in a commercial vehicle that's going interstate has to have that electronic log in place.
Okay, why was this passed? What were the reasons? And what about you as a trucking owner? Were you ever asked about the complications and the pitfalls? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, there's always been a paper logbook. It's been around for years, and it's easy enough to fudge a little bit on that. It's pretty hard to whole scale cheat on it because there's always sightings at different ports of entry. But the idea of electronic log, I think the original implementation date was supposed to be 2012, and it's taken this long because there's been tremendous pushback because of the inflexibility of it.
Yeah. And what kind of penalties are imposed on you, the owner, if a driver inadvertently checks in or out 2 minutes early?
Well, at this point in time, I don't think there's any penalties on the owner, but the driver would, and the company, actually both of us, would have points tallied against our safety score.
Oh my goodness!
So, and eventually you get beat up with that safety score. You know how those are. Is
this an insurmountable problem? Is it causing you to find it harder to find drivers? I mean, what's happening here?
Well, in our niche, I don't think it'll make a big difference. But for those people that are going across country, or team drivers, or the people that are trying to meet delivery schedules in New York when they're loading in Phoenix, then it's my impression it's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Huge problem.
What about the national people? Like you said, you cover what? You go into Utah, though, don't you? At times?
Mm-hmm.
You go into Utah, and what other states do you go into?
Well, we do everything surrounding Idaho, basically, is the easy way to put it, and then into Colorado.
I see.
And actually, there is a penalty in place if they think it's egregious that you're in violation.
Right.
They can fine you up to $11,000.
$11,000 per occurrence.
Per occurrence, yeah.
Wow. And where does this money go?
I think it all goes to that big government pot, wherever that is.
It's called the Senate and the Congress, so they can redistribute it to a hamster.
Yeah, it's a small redistribution of wealth program, I guess.
Has this really dampened the spirits of the trucking industry in general across the board? Are they afraid?
Yeah, I think they are, and I think it's so hard to find drivers now, and there's just a lot of drivers that just don't like electronic things and just don't like all the rules that come with it. So, yeah, it'll be difficult. You know, there's been a shortage of drivers in the industry for years. I'm not sure what the real shortage is, because if every carrier actually had all the drivers that they wanted, or that they had trucks for, then there probably isn't that much freight. It's kind of one of those shortages that you really don't know what it is, because at present everything's getting where it needs to go when it needs to be there, basically.
Right.
So, but everyone has more vehicles than they have drivers.
But the trucking industry, and I'm fairly aware of your industry because back in the 70s and early 80s, I owned my own grain company, and quite frankly, we were dependent upon the success of our business because of people like you that are in the trucking industry. And the trucking industry has always, in my opinion, been underpriced as far as really what they do and the money they make. Yeah. This is even more of a slap in the face.
It is. You know, I look all the time at the return on investment for buying trucks and operating trucks, and I guess we do it because we like the industry, because we definitely don't do it for return on investment.
That's like being a rodeo cowboy.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you know, what guy really makes a good living being a cowboy?
Very few.
Yeah, and it's a lot of hard work, but they love it, so they do it.
But with the regulations and the stipulations and all the licensing, and then you're putting your trust as a truck owner into a driver that, boy, he's not going to end up costing you a lot of money. How do you find these good people?
Well, you know, the millennials are terrible because, you know, the ones we've been hiring the last 10 years will call up and say, I can't come to work today. And then after they do that 4 or 5 times and you decide that you really don't need them anymore, then they're just look at you as just incredulous that, what's the problem? I told you I wasn't coming.
Can you tip that mic up just a little bit? There you go. Yeah. So basically they call in at the drop of a hat and say that they're not going to drive the truck.
Yeah, I can't come today. My wife has to do this, or I've got this or that to do. And that, so you have to work with those employees and teach them and try to get them to understand that when you hire a full-time employee, you're doing it because you need a full-time employee, and that it's not just at their whim that they come to work.
And I would assume you've been in business for so many years, since 1928, you said.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that you have the insurances and the benefit programs and everything else that you're laying out for these people, and then they have the rudeness to shortchange you like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's intentional rudeness. I just think it's naivety. They just really don't know how business works.
You mentioned the millennials, and I think this is worth a discussion here a little bit this morning, because I heard this morning on another newscast at 4 a.m. that the millennials are absolutely causing a problem for the Dallas Police Department. They can't find any new recruits because some of these kids between 20 and 28 years of age are demanding no weekend work, no night work, and all holidays off. That's their demand when they walk in. I see you're smiling, but it's not funny.
It's not funny, and we've raised a whole generation of kids that think that because they went to school, got an education, that they are entitled to this amount of money and these amount of benefits, and none of them have ever really learned how to work.
How do we re-implement that right, not the right, but the understanding that you have to work for the money that you make?
Well, it would be nice if there were consequences when you didn't work, but there's so many programs and ways that you can still get by without working that it makes it hard. Makes it hard for people to realize that work's a good idea.
Do you have, and I know a lot of trucking companies do, and I'm sure you do too, kind of a period of training where you throw another driver in the truck with these people so they don't end up driving from Portland, Maine? They meant to go to Portland, Oregon?
Yeah, you know, we're kind of regionally based, so we have different drivers ride with them for quite a while, and then, you know, they give us feedback back, and, you know, and I kind of wonder in the long run, you know, you look at the autonomous vehicles and that whole idea coming down the road. You know, there's just going to be huge changes in the next 10 or 15 years.
What are some of those changes? Would you care to tell me about that?
Well, you know, there's lots of, you know, Tesla's coming out with an electric truck that's pretty much all automated.
Can I stop you right there? Electric vehicles, I find that to be one of the most idiotic things that we can do with an overtaxed electrical grid as it is now.
Well, I have an electric car.
You do?
All electric.
So I've lost you as a friend.
No, I've driven it for 5 years now, and Here's my take on electric vehicles. If you're going to have an electric vehicle, there's no better place to have it than in Idaho, because it's the cheapest electric rates in the United States, practically.
That's true.
Secondly, if you have an electric vehicle and you set it up so it charges at night when there's a surplus of electricity, it really doesn't tax the grid any at all.
That's true.
If you ask an Idaho Power board member, he would probably love to have 3,000 or 4,000 vehicles charging every night between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock or something like that.
But what about the recharging as far as the, I hate to use this word, but the economical handiness? You're trying to go to Boise and you only have a limit of maybe 100 miles. That means you got to stop at Mountain Home.
If you have an electric vehicle, you're not buying it to go to Boise.
Aha.
You have to be a two-car family. My Leaf is 5 years old. I've got 70,000 miles on it. It's never been further than Twin, and it won't go to Twin and back anymore, because the life is not what it was when it was new. Now, what about the changing of those batteries, Clay? How expensive are they? Have you priced that out? I don't know if you ever have to change them. Oh, really? Because, like I say, I'm coming up on 6 years. But there's a diminishment of value, isn't there? Yeah, there is, and the car itself's not worth anything. There's no market for used electric vehicles as right now. But what about trucks? I'm just suppositioning here, so help me on this. If you had electric trucks and they're making the run, let's say, from here to Boise every day, I mean, what's the downtime on a recharge? Okay, here's the pros and cons of an electric truck. My electric car, I have not spent a dime on it. Okay. There are no pumps, there are no moving parts. It's just an electric motor, just like your fan or anything else. And it's responsive. I mean, I push on the gas and I'm moving. And no maintenance. The diesel engines that we have right now have so many emissions things on there that they're a maintenance headache. Cost thousands and thousands of dollars to keep them running all the time, to recharge and all those things. So an electric truck, if it can, and they're saying that they'll be able to do 500 miles. So if you could, in our business, it would be, I have an electric truck, it goes to Ogden and back, it comes back, we charge it up, and then maybe I have another driver take it to Ogden and back. So if you find the niches, I think you can make them work. So you fit it into your program of delivery. It's not a one-size-fits-all, but I shouldn't say hate, that's a strong word. I dislike so much the politics of oil money in the world that I would spend and lose money on an electric truck and electric car. Mm-hmm. But what about the being forced into a situation of using electric vehicles like in the trucking industry, and you're going transcon? Let's say you're going from L.A. to Chicago, or Chicago down to Amarillo, Florida, Texas, whatever the case might be. I don't see the feasibility. I don't either, for 2 or 3 reasons. First of all, you're not going to get the miles per gallon, per charge, I should say. Right. So you never know when you're going to be having to stop. Do the trucks have the same power as your car does? Yeah, I read the thing on the Tesla, and it said you could go 0 to 60 in a truck in 6 seconds. Really? In a truck? In a truck. That's moving. That's moving. And there's no gears or anything. Got the cop behind you. And actually, I think it was 5 seconds. Wow. So you can imagine. I mean, when I drive my little electric car, I pull out in front of everybody, and I am gone before they have time to honk or flip. I'm going to remember that. What color is it? It's a little red car, but it just zips. It is so fun to drive. But the information you're giving me this morning is so interesting because of the drivers I've said that have talked to me and other people involved in the trucking industry that are really worried about their industry over the next decade. And another thing, the biggest problem we have in the industry right now, I think, a safety problem, is trying to deal with a freeway full of inattentive drivers. Oh, couldn't agree with you more. I think probably half of our accidents in the last 3 years have been people running into the back of us because they're texting or talking or drowsy. Really? So, and we don't go, we go 65, 67 is what most of the trucks are governed at. And so you take that variable with with an 80-mile-an-hour speed limit. And, you know, if you're not careful, you're on top of a truck before you know it.
I can relate to what you're saying, and I got to do a weather forecast here, but I can relate to what you're saying because I pull horses a lot, and I refuse to go over 75 pulling horses. I got too much money invested. And I myself personally, right over a little bit on the other side of Bliss, going along 75, and all of a sudden here comes this car. And I don't know what he was doing or what he wasn't doing, but he almost took out the back end of my trailer. Had to swerve at the last minute and go around me.
Yeah, we've had plenty of them that weren't almost that run in the back of us.
Really?
And you know, sometimes they really hurt themselves.
And your insurance, I'd like to talk about in just a minute. You must be paying sky-high rates.
We pay a lot.
All right, hold on just a minute. We're talking to Clay Handy with Handy Truck Lines, and right now it's time for the weather, brought to you by Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, with locations in Burley and Rupert. Absolutely the best, and they have been the best, serving you for well over 50 years with all their accounting services in the Mini-Cash area. Please remember to give them a call for your looking at your taxes going into next year, your W-2s, all that sort of information. They're the company that would really enjoy working and serving you and your business. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, with locations in Burley and Rupert. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Hazy and foggy as we make our way through the work week, and that's pretty much your weather forecast here for Zebeth Ranch. We are looking at areas of dense freezing fog before noon. If we can make it past that, partly sunny skies for today, high of 33, winds out of the east, northeast, right around 5 miles an hour. For tonight, patchy freezing fog, mostly cloudy skies with a low of 17. That's going to continue for tomorrow. Widespread haze in areas of freezing fog before noon, just hazy afternoon. Partly sunny skies with a high of 33. For Thursday night, patchy freezing fog, mostly cloudy, low of about 21. Then for Friday, pretty much the same. Patchy freezing fog in the morning and in the evening hours. Widespread haze during the day, partly sunny skies, highs close to 40 with an overnight low near 26. That's your weather for Zebeth Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Brought to you by Phillips Oaks, Goodwin. Can I start over again, please? I bit my tongue. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, with locations in Burley and Rupert, serving you with the best of accounting services. Be sure and get a hold of them today. Go in and have a chair, Kelton. We'll be with you in about 10 minutes or so. The Incredible Hulk, Kelton Hatch, if you've ever listened to the program, Fish and Game. Clay, when we talk about costs, I mean, I would hate to be in your business and every month you look at insurance costs, you look at all these perhaps infraction costs, fuel costs. How do you keep up with it?
Well, you just have to keep raising your rates.
And that's the bottom line.
And that's it.
Yeah.
You know, people say, really, it costs that much to go from point A to point B? But, you know, as an industry, you know, you're getting a return of maybe 4 or 5%. And, you know, most of the businesses that we do business with, that we all are making way more than the trucking industry does. So it's a labor of love. It's a fascination. I grew up with it. I can't imagine doing anything else. I mean, from the time I was little, going down the freeway, or going down the 2-lane highways back then, all I did was try and guess what kind of a truck was coming, what make it was before my brother did.
Did you ever do any driving yourself?
Yeah, I put myself through college driving.
Really?
And I still like to drive, except I usually have too many tickets, so I can't.
Well, you're an honest man. And being in the rodeo business, for some reason, I can relate to that. You're always late and in a hurry. Why is your face red?
This is terrible to me to admit you have that many tickets to the whole world, right?
I want to go back to the situation of labor. What does it look like in your crystal ball for the next 5-10 years as far as finding people that are going to sit up there and drive that truck and deliver those goods and services?
So the age of truck drivers in the industry is way high. And the only way I think that we'll survive is I think we have to do two things. I think we have to get in the high schools and junior colleges and create a desire to work in the industry. The second thing we have to do is we have to change the way we do things. To put someone in a truck and send them out for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks at a time it's a crappy job. And you know, most of the long haul companies, that's what they end up doing. So I think somehow we either have to have more cooperation between companies and have a hub and spoke mentality, or a situation where we're
kind
switching.
of a delivery point.
Yeah, delivery
and then
point,
a pickup point,
or else someplace where you drop the trailer and someone else picks it up and takes it on east, so that people get home. But it's the shortage of drivers is in the long haul industry. It's not so much in the regional and local haul.
And there's really no way in the world to replace the trucking industry for what it does.
No, I don't think so. It gets more and more. I was talking to my neighbor the other day, and I was telling him that it'd be nice if there weren't so many trucks on the road. And he said, I never complain about trucks on the road because I like avocados.
Yeah, that's right.
And I know they don't grow in Idaho.
That's right.
And he said, and I have a long list of things I enjoy that don't grow in Idaho, so I expect there's going to be trucks on the road.
But for the owners of various truck lines, is there any way that they can cut back on their expenses, or do you see more of a conglomerate forming in the trucking industry?
One of the best things you can do is become more productive. And in Idaho, recently we allowed 129,000 pounds on gross vehicle weight.
Right.
Which is a wonderful productivity gain for bulk commodities.
If the roads are made for it.
Well, the funny thing is you have less weight per axle. So we put in requests for, I think, 14 different routes on state roads, and all of them were approved because the road bases are fine. With that much weight on a truck, really the only limiting issue is long span bridges.
Oh.
If they can take that much weight.
And there's not been any reparation to a lot of these bridges.
Yeah, the replacement, like
Does
the ones
it scare you going over the Prime Bridge?
Well, I don't drive over the Prime.
Honest man.
On a windy day, I might.
Oh, not me. Clay, would you promise to come back? I'm out of time, but I found it very interesting, and you're very forthright on everything. Clay Handy of Handy Truck Lines, a man that I really have a lot of respect for, on our program this morning talking about the trucking industry.
If I could just take 1 minute. If I could ever come back and talk to you about Islam and Muslims, I would love to, because my wife and I have had exchange students, and we've gone to visit them in Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan.
And we don't want to lump everybody into the same mold.
I think it'd be nice to hear how those people live.
Come back.
I think Arab Muslims and Muslims are two different things.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Come back, please. And Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Clay Handy, and right now, before I go to the news, I want to remind everybody about Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview in Twin Falls. I know Kelton Hatch is here. That's his favorite place to shop. Sportsman's Warehouse, with everything for the hunter, the fisherman, the archery enthusiast, everything, with special people that have expert advice to help you in every department. This is the place to shop for your Christmas shopping. Reese and the staff at Sportsman's Warehouse. And Clay, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Come back again. Sportsman's Warehouse in Twin Falls, 1940 Bridgeview in Twin, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's true. Through the snow, through the ice, through the wind and all the elements, the Incredible Hulk is here. Kelton Hatch, next hour with the Fish and Game. Wheels, take it away. Oh, my. Oh, my. Talk about a foggy day. And we got a foggy person with us, too. We'll have the Idaho Fish and Game report momentarily. He's right now eating all the candy canes and playing with the rubber toys on the desk. We got to keep him pacified. Kelton Hatch with the Idaho Fish and Game. Merry Christmas wishes in just a minute, but right now, Zebeth Ranch brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. Merry Christmas from Senator Kelly Anthon, Speaker of the House Scott Bedke, and Representative Fred Wood. They would like to wish all their constituents a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and know that they're working for you up at the Idaho Legislature. Senator Kelly Anthon, Speaker of the House Scott Bedke, and Representative Fred Wood, Merry Christmas. Along with our friends with the Burley Area Merchants Association, BAMA. Come find Bella the Elf in 25 area stores, and when you find Bella, you'll be able to put your name in a box for the store's weekly drawing. All entries will be gathered, drawn for for $100 in cash coupons. Ho-ho! Thank you, Burley Area Merchants Association, Bama. Merry Christmas. Okay, here's Kelton. Good morning. How are you today?
Just fine as frog's hair there, buddy. It's nice out there. You'll love it.
Yeah.
No, it makes you, kind of puts you in the Christmas spirit.
Kind of?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is better than 4 foot of snow right now.
I couldn't agree more.
I wish we had more snow in the mountains, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
what's up there?
Very little. 6 inches.
Really?
Yeah.
All over, or just in various places?
It gets a little higher up top, but I mean, just up here in the
over towards Bostetter.
Yeah, you probably got a foot up in there.
Okay.
But there's not a lot, but I mean, it does make it look a winter wonderland around your place.
You could still make it up there on a 4-wheeler. Probably.
Could.
Yeah, you don't need a snowmobile.
If you didn't freeze to it. Yeah.
So
we'll just take a crowbar and pry your hands off those grips.
I don't want to go up there. No thanks. What about Hunter's report card? What's this long number? 877-268-9365, 24/7.
If you haven't reported whether you killed a deer or an elk or a pronghorn.
I wasn't so lucky.
I know. Well, you could have bought one over the counter.
I know.
If you haven't reported whether you've harvested, you can call that 877-268-9365, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
It's got a tape.
Nope. There's a person that will go, I guess it is. It's a pre-recorded deal.
Okay.
And the things that you need, this is what happens, is people get there and then they go, I don't know. You're going to need your hunting license number. You're going
Before
to need,
you call.
Yes. You're going to need how many days you hunted, the unit you hunted in, if you harvested, if you saw wolves, how many points the animal had on it, and if you harvested, and just some basic information like that. But, we get a lot of people calling, and they'll say they won't know that, and so they have to go back. And so just have that stuff prepared. Get that in. People don't understand how critical this is, and so they kind of, and I'm as bad as the next guy. I guess the reason I'm putting it in here is I've received a couple phone calls from Fish and Game saying, hey, your season's over, maybe you ought to report.
Okay.
And I had a general tag, and so I just went and bought one and went hunting and had fun.
Does number 1 on this list, the hunter's report card, also coincide with number 2, deer and elk counts?
It does, because the thing is right now you're going to, if the fog lifts, you may see a helicopter flying overhead. Our ship has been docked for the last 4 days. We're supposed to be down flying sheep down in the Jarbidge Bruno, but they're under a cloud of fog in Mountain Home and can't get the ship here.
Oh, my.
And so, but what we're doing right now is we're doing composition counts. What composition counts are is where you go in and determine how many bucks, does, and fawns are in a population, so that we can see. And then we take those numbers and compare it to the last, 30 years that we've been collecting this data, or 40. And then we also take the harvest success that we've had to kind of extrapolate how many animals were in the population.
Wait a minute. What word did you use? Extrapolate?
Yes.
And I was told I shouldn't make fun of you being from Utah State anymore. And really, I've got some of my best friends are graduates of Utah State. I say it only in love.
Oh, yeah, I can tell. I can tell. I feel it. Feel the love. But we take those numbers and we mash them all together. Does that help?
Mash is a lot better than extrapolate. I like that.
We combine them all, and then we determine what's going on with the populations out there. Later on in the month, the reason we're counting right now is because the bucks can start losing antlers in January, in February and March, and so we want to. It just depends on their body condition and stuff, and so deer can start losing antlers earlier. And so we want to be able to tell whether it's a buck or a doe before the antlers fall off, because it's kind of hard when you don't have antlers on their head.
Duh. Hey, is this kind of a winter, though, if it stayed like this? I know we need the moisture and everything, but that would be really good for the fawn crop, wouldn't it?
It would. The deer, everything we've seen at the check stations, the deer were in fat and happy and, in good condition.
Wait a minute. That's really an oxymoron. They're dead, and they're fat and happy?
Well, they were. I guess that's true. The rest of them.
I love you being a spokesman for the fishing game.
The other ones that didn't come through the check station are fat and happy because their friends that came through were fat, not as happy. Maybe they are happy because they're just relaxed.
Totally.
And so, but no, they're in really good body condition. And so, yeah, if we keep a winter going, we're actually, we'd have to have a heck of a winter from now on to be able to really have much of an impact because of the way the Magic Valley's winters typically run. We usually come into spring fairly early and get green up.
Yeah.
In February, March, early March, typically you have, a little green up going on. And so, we're sitting pretty good right now.
Okay. Hey, by the way, if you're over in Burley tomorrow morning and stop at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, I'll buy you breakfast.
Maybe I will.
Oh, good. It's the great big annual Christmas party, and it runs on my program from 8 to 11. Yes, we're going to have prizes, and Santa Claus is going to be there. I'm not talking about you. And, of course, we're going to have choirs singing Christmas carols, and you can register to win a beautiful Flex Steel men's recliner, compliments of Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more with Jeff and the crew. All of this tomorrow at the Merry Christmas party at Denny's America's Diner in Burley. Don't miss it.
Cool.
Okay. You told me how you did this, and it really sounds like it could be a tough job. Radio collaring deer.
And elk.
It's not elk on there.
I know, I didn't. I was just trying to throw it off. No. After we get done doing our aerial surveys, we locate the deer. We're going to actually start putting radio colors on deer and a few elk this fall. There's two ways we do it. We kind of do one as a big roundup where you take 100-foot nets and you hook them together at the end, so you'll string nets.
Between the trees?
Well, no, with sticks. We stand them up with sticks and tie
sticks?
And we tie them to sagebrush. We have these, we kind of make it A-frame. And the net is about 6 foot tall, and we just hook the net in the top of some forks on these sticks, and the sticks are about 8 foot, and the sticks are about 8 or 9 foot tall.
Wow!
And then we make an A out of the sticks and hold the net up.
You should see him, folks. He's doing all this with his hands, making an A and everything. Yeah,
I'm trying to so that I can visualize it, so that I can tell people the best way that I know how. So it's kind of like I'm painting a picture.
Yeah, you're painting a really nice picture.
Okay,
a graduate, by the way. I won't say where.
So we'll put 3 nets together on one side of a canyon.
Yes.
And then we'll run 3 nets down the other side of the canyon. Running with the bottom drainage,
Yes.
Then we'll have some cross nets that go.
And making it almost impossible to be elusive.
Exactly. And then the helicopter will drive them over these little ridges, and they'll run into the nets, and then you run and jump on them.
Now, this part sounds dangerous because you have a 300-pound plus animal.
Well, the deer aren't that big.
Well, the elk are.
The elk, we do those a different way.
I'll bet you do.
We usually shoot a net over them.
I see.
From a helicopter, and then we have another ship that comes in and hovers, and you jump out of a flying helicopter.
A perfectly good aircraft.
Yeah.
You jump out of.
Only 3 foot.
3
to 4 foot to the ground.
And you go over to an animal that is known in the wild as being wild, and he's going to do everything he can to trodden you.
I like deep snow for this. Because when they step on your head, it doesn't hurt as bad when they push you into soft snow.
Have you had your head stepped on? Needless to say, I know the answer about that.
I've had my legs and shoulders, and
they can be a little bit mad.
Well, the thing is sometimes the net doesn't go on the animal the way you'd like it.
Oh?
Like it'll just go over their neck.
This isn't good.
And it'll hang like a loose lariat around their neck, and their legs are free, and they're just standing there. So you grab the net and you hang on to it and try to. It's like having a rope around a steer's
Now, meanwhile, this elk is not standing still.
No. No. Your rope and steers are like big kitty cats.
How many people that have jumped out of a perfectly good aircraft 3 feet above the ground does it need to hold an elk that's really teed off?
Well, we can only use 3 because of the amount of people on the ship. We only put 3 people out. So you have to cowboy up just a little bit.
And they're all probably the size of you.
No. No,
really?
Not at all.
Bigger?
No.
Oh.
Usually there's one guy like me that gets ran over. We do the mugging. And then we have the other people that are the technical
how would you put that on your resume if you ever decide to leave the fishing game?
Elk mugger.
Elk mugger.
Yeah, I mug elk.
I see.
No, I don't do it as much anymore. I'm getting a little long in the tooth for mugging elk.
A little?
Yeah. It's like, that's a young man sport. I mean, I'd still go out and do it. But
so what do you do? I mean, you get a hold of them and you try to hold them, you said, by the net over their body.
Well, what our goal is to get them down on their side, and then we basically
do you use
put a
kind of
pig
like a sheep hook or something?
No, you run up and grab them and knock them down.
No, you don't all the time.
You do, Zeb. And then
meanwhile, they're kicking and doing all sorts of things.
And then you just put a leg behind them. You get them on their side. You can't put as much weight on deer. Deer are a lot more fragile, and so you have to be pretty cautious of them. But with the elk, after we get them down, then we have like dog collars. They're longer, that type of material, though. You know, that plastic covered nylon.
Yeah.
And we have hobbles. And then we hobble all 4 feet and tie them together like you're using a pig and string kind of. But we don't want this one to come loose when they're kicking.
Meanwhile, they're kicking and using their antlers to try to destroy your personality.
Well, hopefully, on the antlers, we try not to shoot bulls. We don't net gun bulls. We just net gun cows. We do catch bucks in the drive net.
I see.
And so, and then we pull them out and we'll cut their antlers off so somebody doesn't. I actually had a buck go into a net, and it spun around and took me, and I grabbed it by the antlers and drove its antlers into the dirt, but in the process it ran one tine through my calf. And so you got
your calf meaning your leg.
Yeah. Not my no, it was my calf on my leg.
And so all of this is considered as part of a day's work with the fishing game.
Well, not a daily job, but every once in a while we get to do it for a couple of weeks.
And do you apply for this work, or do they just volunteer you?
Well, you're big and slow. We'll take you. So, no, it's actually the data that we collect. I wanted to talk about a little bit of the data. Some of the elk that we've tracked. We caught one up by Fairfield. And this is just the history. We've got close to 600 elk, maybe 700 elk in Idaho radio collared.
Yeah.
And we've got about that many, probably 1,000 deer, close to that. So we do this a lot. And basically, if we'd have known what we know now, things on like 86 going down to the pass down through going down to Tremonton.
Yeah.
Or not 86. Yeah, that's 86, isn't it?
Yeah.
It would have probably done it a little bit different, because this allows us to understand migration patterns. We're nowadays using GPS tracking collars, and so like we put this collar on this elk by Fairfield, and come to find out that elk likes summering at Alturas Lake, 35 miles away.
Really?
And then after it gets done summering there, it likes moving to Mountain Home, 80 miles away from Alturas, to winter. And then certain parts of the year it hangs out in Fairfield. We also had another elk that we had trapped.
And so what does that information tell you?
Well, it shows us what roads they're crossing, how far they're migrating, where good places is that a good place to put a road in anywhere when we've got, 2,000 head of elk crossing that far? That's what we found out later on about these deer down here in Sublet and Black Pine. We've lost a lot of deer down there just because of that interstate, because those deer would migrate across that valley and go down to Kelton, Utah, and then would go back down to American Falls Reservoir, and they
move that much?
Oh, you bet. Well, we've got another elk that we caught not too far from Gooding that migrated to Arrow Rock, the lake over by Boise, and then it came back and spent some time in Mountain Home, and then it went to Alturas.
They had relatives up there or something?
Yeah, just out seeing the kin during Christmas and such, and but the thing is it really gives us. We've got the interesting thing is we've got all these different migration patterns.
I never thought they moved that much.
Oh yeah, it's amazing the distances these elk, deer, and pronghorn all travel, and it's something that we couldn't ever really collect that data until this newer technology. We've got deer that winter at Arco and have their fawns at Anderson Ranch Reservoir.
No.
And then we've got deer at Anderson Ranch Reservoir that summer up there above there in Unit 43 and migrate to Mountain Home and move back and forth. And we got a bunch of deer that will go from... they just go...
Is it because of the different grazing, or what do you suppose?
I think it's where Mama had them, and they just have learned...
And they've got a great GPS.
They do, and they just migrate back and forth to these from winter to summer ranges, and when we put interstates or 4 lanes, all of a sudden we go, I wonder why we're hitting so many deer on this road. Well, come to find out, we've got these huge migration patterns, and it helps us. We do a lot of people don't understand this, but every time that there's a new interstate built or highway built or a new subdivision goes in or a new airport or anything that has impact on the landscape, we end up commenting or giving our information from this radio data to them so that they can best... As Idaho grows, I've said this multiple times, Idaho's, since I've been graduated from high school, we've gained over 1 million people. And as the population continues to grow, this data is more and more important on planning the future if we want to have wildlife in Idaho.
Yeah. And because of the people moving in.
Yeah. And so if we can use this and structure our new roads and our new subdivisions better, it'll be better for wildlife.
Wow, that's honestly, and I'm not making this up to be facetious, I did not know they traveled that far.
Yeah.
That really amazes me. Hey, Merry Christmas wishes from Senator Kelly Anthon. And Kelly is one of the hardest working politicians I've ever seen. He really cares. Very diligent and hardworking, and he's a senator that cares about you and your family and your well-being. Merry Christmas from Senator Kelly Anthon and his family to you, his constituents. Thank you, Kelly Anthon. Along with also, we want to give Christmas wishes out this afternoon, or should say this morning, and they go from Speaker of the House Scott Bedke. Here's a man that's a rancher and understands the land, and he understands the folks that live here and all the problems and the good, bad, and ugly right here in the state of Idaho that he's trying to help you, his constituents, with every legislative session. Don't forget, a very Merry Christmas from Speaker of the House, Representative Scott Bedke. From his family to yours, Merry Christmas. Okay, what about waterfowl hunting? Man, I think there's been a ton of hunting going on and a lot of good geese and ducks.
There is. I mean, with this cold weather, we're starting to see lakes freeze up. Not so much right here close to Murtaugh. I mean, I guess Murtaugh Reservoir is probably getting a little bit of ice on the edges and things right now. But, a lot of the streams are staying open. And the good thing about that, like the Snake River, is getting better and better for waterfowl hunting just because it's pushing those ducks from those smaller ponds.
By the way, I got to ask you something, pardon my interruption, and I mean this in all seriousness. I have heard that blue-green algae, you talked about it one time, and then Dr. Bill over at Ark Animal Hospital called me and said, man, keep the dogs away from the edge of the rivers because that blue-green algae can kill. Is it still as bad?
Well, I had no idea that we still had it going on this time of year. I thought after it froze and got cold like this that we had most of it die. But that's something I would probably call your vet on because I don't feel confident enough to say something on that.
Okay, but it can be very deadly.
Oh, in the summer when they hit those blooms, it can kill a dog in hours.
In hours. A caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Calvin, this is Earl Worthen. Back in the 60s when the interstate went through Black Pine area there, it was under my understanding they were going to put kind of a tunnel effect on that interstate there to allow that wildlife to migrate over the top of the interstate. And if there was money appropriated for that project, whatever happened to it? So I'll let you comment on it on the air, and I'll just listen.
Well, I appreciate the question on there. All I know is I was talking to Carl Nellis. He was the former regional wildlife manager, and when they were getting ready to put that in, he had commented on them that they needed to put something in there because they knew that it was a heavily used area for deer. it was something like 3,000 deer that died on the shoulder of that road in the first 2 years.
3,000?
It was somewhere close to that. That herd used to have a ton of deer, and it's just slowly degraded ever since then. In about 8 years ago, I started going down in that Malt area and down past there over Sweetser, and there was some underpasses. A few of them had been locked up because they were on private property. We have worked with the landowners and the ranchers down there. They've gone in, and we've got a grant, and they fenced a lot to try to drive some of those animals into those underpasses. If you're on our Facebook page, we had a bunch of photos on where we had coyotes, and we had badgers. We had a whole herd of deer crossing those underpasses that are in there now. Yeah. Our goal right now is we're actually in the process of trying to come up with money to fence that about a 6 to 8 mile section over Sweetser there, like they have down there out of Snowville. They've got that high fence driving those deer to those crossing points, and that's our eventual goal. But it's pretty pricey to put the fence up, and it's pretty pricey to maintain it, and it's something that's on a highway right away. And so any pressures that the public can give to your local legislators or the highway districts or those type of things, it really helps us because it shows. I know that we've got some overpasses going in some places. Their cost is somewhere around $5 or $6 million for the overpasses, so they're not really cheap. And we've got some underpasses. It was interesting to me. I found one underpass that was only I'm about 6'4", and it's I have to bend over, and it rubs on the top of my shoulders going through this one culvert they have, and deer use it.
Really?
All the time. It's amazing to me that they'll walk. It's probably a 5-foot culvert. A cement crossing. And
what about the ones on 93 going south towards Wells?
Those are expensive. They put a huge pile of money in there to help the population because you've got 2 overpasses down through there. Yeah. And that's what those
are. They working?
Oh, you bet. Those are awesome. Really? Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of those, you bet, those get tons and tons of migration, and it's cut their highway mortality down so greatly.
And I'm not making jest of it at all, because I know that they work, but it is amazing to me. I look at our cats during the wintertime, and when the water is out of the canal, for some reason I think one cat goes back to the rest of the cats and says, okay, boys, we don't have to cross the road anymore. We'll go under the road through the canal. Yeah. They really figure this stuff out.
They can. The fence helps them for the deer.
Well, yeah.
And I think the cats they're smart enough to say, oh, Fred got ran over yesterday.
Yeah, Fred's no longer with us.
So we'll go that way. But no, it would be awesome to be able to put overpasses 2 or 3 going up over 86 over through Sweetser. I really think it would help that deer population, and what we've got going now I think is helping.
All right, I got to send it back over to the main studios. We've got to take a 3-minute break. We'll be back with more with Kelton Hatch and the Fishing Game right after this.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, thank you, and welcome back to our last half hour, and it'll be the last show, of course, with Kelton for this year, 2017. Stop cheering in the background, audience. Thank you very much. Anyway, Merry Christmas wishes from Representative Fred Wood. This man really cares about you and your family and enjoys serving you at the legislative session every January, and a man that really understands how to address the problems here in the state of Idaho. Representative Fred Wood in Burley wishes you and your family a very Merry Christmas. Wow, we got to get through this. We talked about waterfowl hunting. What about bear applications?
Let me hit 2 more things on waterfowl hunting.
All right.
Okay. No, this is critical stuff. We've got a ton of people out on the river right now.
How much equivalates to a ton?
Well,
quite a
about
few.
4 big guys.
Okay.
or 8. Okay. I guess 6. I don't know. It just depends on how much crap they have and how much lunch. How big their dogs are.
What a way with words.
Just please don't overload your boats. Every year we have people that overload their boats
in the cold water,
and they go swimming, and then not on purpose.
Yeah.
They get too much crap, too much food, too much cocoa.
You love that word, don't you?
I do. They just get a lot of stuff. Hunters have a lot of stuff.
There you
Ask
go.
any woman that's got a man that hunts or a man that has a... Women usually don't have as much stuff, though, for hunting for some reason. But
all
right. I digress.
So many times.
But just don't overload your boats. Every year we get calls on emergency rescues.
Really?
We do. And
what do they say? Fred's in the water?
Please hurry. We got people in the creek. It usually comes from dispatch.
Okay.
And so we've got a jet boat. We'll hook onto it and run down there and try to get them out.
They're in the water that long?
Yeah, sometimes. Or they'll float to an island or be somewhere out there cold.
And they're cold.
You bet. So, and the biggest thing is overloaded boats. The other thing is...
What do you consider overloaded?
Well, when you've got less than 2 inches of freeboard on your boat and your dog wiggles, jumps from one side to the other, and it starts filling up, too many people. I would keep at least a foot myself. Some boats that I've seen out there don't even have a foot when it's empty.
Have they called on a cell phone and said, I
say swim for shore.
It's hard with all that clothing on, though.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
It's just so dangerous this time of year because hypothermia can set in so quick. The other thing we've been running into is people that forget to put the plugs back in their shotguns. You can only have 2 in your magazine, and there's a plug that goes in the pump or in the semi-automatic so that you can't put 5 in there.
Yeah.
So put your plugs back in and use still shot. It's still shot all the time, guys. If you think you might pick up a pheasant or a quail while you're down there duck hunting, shoot them with still shot. It's just better that you just have still with you when you're down there. The other thing is the first, before I'm back, it's going to be the new year. You need a new hunting license.
Uh-oh.
So you got to get your hunting license. Your federal migratory duck stamp is good for the whole season.
I see.
But you need to get a new migratory bird permit and a new hunting license. So
for 2018.
For 2018, so remember that.
Okay. Now, what about bear applications? You spelled bear wrong. B-A-R-E. It's B-E-A-R.
B-E-A-R? That's B-E-A-R.
I'm kidding you.
Let's take this call.
It's on the
You're
paper.
digressing.
Caller, good morning. Help us.
Mr. Bell, I got a question for your guest. Is there a danger of that bacteria in the water for the dogs at this time?
Zeb and I were talking about that a little bit during the break. I just don't know myself on that. I thought after it froze and it died, but what I would do is call your local vet. I don't believe it's active this time of year, but call your vet.
But if the algae is still there, though, and it's visible...
It should be black and dead.
Yeah, but maybe the best thing to do is call the vet.
It is.
Okay.
I wish I knew, but I don't.
You bet, Gary. Take care. God bless. And Kelton will come over and see if it's that. He'll give a little taste test to it or something. I'm kidding. Now, we got to get through this bear applications. I was kidding you about the way you had it.
It wasn't that kind of a bear. It's a little black bear.
Yes.
And so we only have the controlled hunt units over on in western Idaho, but the applications periods will start before I'm back next time. And so applications are... Can you believe we're already applying for 2018 hunts?
I can't.
And
we're talking January 15th, right?
January 15th. Then in the 1st of February, we start putting in for turkeys. And then the 1st of April, we start putting in for bighorn sheep, moose, and goat.
Wow. Already?
You can't wait.
Let's fly through this a little bit because I got to cut off a little bit early today. Lion and otter quotas.
I'm sorry. This is really stupid on our part. But our system is not working, and so most of the time lion hunters and otter trappers can go to our Fish and Game website and see there's a quote on how many you can harvest in each unit.
Yeah.
That has gone kaputs, and we're having a rough time getting it going again.
How do you spell that?
I don't know.
Oh.
We're trying to get through this, remember, Zeb?
Okay.
And so if you are a lion hunter or an otter trapper, call 800 323-4334, and that's the way you'll find the updates for otter and lion quotas this year.
And if you go on the computer, just look up the word kaputs and hit that button.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is we've been getting a lot of calls that I can't find the wolf quotas.
Oh, yeah.
Wolf quotas are no more. We don't have a quotas per units, and so it's an open season for them, and so...
I didn't know that.
Yep. The quotas
When did that happen?
This year.
Really?
First year we
That's
don't-
good news.
It is. And so there's no wolf quotas, and so we're not having much of an impact on them with hunting. There's still some folks that get out there and harvest them, and most of them are incidental kills during big game season.
Yeah, but it's funny how no wolf quotas on your list is right ahead of Christmas presents.
Yeah. Well, the Christmas presents is what I wanted to talk about here. Is if you're looking,
I know what you're going to say. You do this every year in December.
Deanne, please buy Zeb his hunting license for Christmas.
Please.
And buy a gift certificate for $6.25 so that he can apply for next year's deer tag.
On time.
On time.
Yeah.
You can just put a big note in his thing. But put it before June 5th. You can apply for deer, elk, or antelope.
Right.
But, buy a gift certificate. There's some other things you can buy. You can buy gift certificates for licenses, super hunt entries. For deer, elk, antelope, and moose, we have those super tags. You can buy applications for those. And you don't have to just come to the Fish and Game office. If you want to come to the Fish and Game office, we'll sell you one, or you can go to your favorite sporting goods store or local license vendor. They pretty much all sell a gift card. And just write on there, this is for your 2018 hunting license, or for, 10 super tag applications.
I am not forgetting again.
I'm going to give you grief again if you do.
I need to pay some bills. Hold on just a second. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from your lamb and wool growers in the Mini-Cassia area, past and present. Hard-working, dedicated people, very strong Idahoans who have been a major part of Idaho's history and are proud to be participating in Idaho's future. And these are really quality folks that have done so much for our agricultural economy throughout the Northwest. Merry Christmas wishes, Happy New Year 2017 from your lamb and wool growers in the Mini-Cassia area. Really nice people working for the betterment of Idaho agriculture. Let's talk about ice fishing. And where is McGargle?
He fell through an ice hole. No, he's at home with his kids. He's taking some time off for the holidays, and he's probably doing some ice fishing.
Now, as cold as it's been, and last week, with highs of 17, 18, etc., what is the thickness of the ice on the reservoirs and everything? Have you gone out and checked it?
There's some of them that have up to 3 inches already. Yeah.
Is Murtaugh Lake frozen over? I haven't
gone out there and looked.
Okay.
And so
be careful, though.
Yes. Well, the thing is, people always joke, 2.5 inches, 3 inches, thick enough to walk on. Yeah, not for me.
Not for you.
And then they go, maybe 6 inches is enough to take a truck on. I'm saying, no, I like to have a foot. Just because I'm not one of those
Why do they
Midwestern...
want to take a chance? Back in the Midwest, in Wisconsin, ice fishing is sacred ground, if you will.
And they lose RVs.
And right there's less than 5 miles from my house on Lake Kushkinong every year. Bernie's pickups disappeared.
Yeah. And so, I don't understand the...
Bernie was in it.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't mind doing a little ice fishing now and again if there's really nothing else to do, because I'm just not... But some people... My dad... I ice fished with him every time he came over. He loved to ice fish. And so, there's a certain segment of the community that just loves to just be safe when you're out there.
I was a senior in high school at Fort Atkinson High School, and one Sunday afternoon, me and my buddies went over to Lake Ripley, Wisconsin, and it's over by Lake Mills, and we're watching and on this little hill, and all of a sudden, one of these ice shanties went, and it was in the drain. And there were cars and pickups parked out there.
I know. It's just, my buddy was, he was I had a friend that was a game warden back there. People used to, he said the fanciest one he ever had was a 32-foot fifth wheel. And they would take it out there, and they'd take the axles off of it and set it right down on the ice. And
the ice?
They had holes in the bottom. It was like a home. until the year it sunk. But I mean,
were there people in there?
It hadn't. But they were going out there going to try. Yes, they're supposed to get the axles on it so they get it off, and they didn't get out there before it sunk. But people do go to great. It's fun. You can catch a lot of fish. I have never seen
the fascination in ice fishing.
I used to do it a lot up in Montana. We could catch kokanee.
Yeah, but that was in August.
Yeah, no doubt. And guess what? you needed a really long auger. I felt safe up there, about 36 inches of ice. Loved it. It was fun, because I felt safe.
I never in my life have seen the merit and the sense in taking a $60,000 pickup out on the ice and parking it and ice fishing.
You've got insurance. No. Okay. So, the next one I really want to hit, though. This next one we need to
the Hayburn,
the super guy.
Okay, hold on just a second. I got to get this in. We got to have our weather forecast, and the weather is brought to everybody by Scarrows Meats. Don Scarrow and the crew over in Jerome, 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call 324-7657, or you can go to their website scarrowsmeats.com. Oh my goodness, listen to this, Kelton. Marinated prime rib, smoked turkeys, smoked ham, bratwurst, breakfast bacons. Oh, it's all delicious at Scarrows Meats over in Jerome. Enjoy for the holiday season, Scarrows Meats. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Hazy and foggy as we make our way through the work week, and that's pretty much your weather forecast here for us at the ranch. We are looking at areas of dense freezing fog before noon. If we can make it past that, partly sunny skies for today, high of 33. Winds out of the east-northeast, right around 5 miles an hour. For tonight, patchy freezing fog, mostly cloudy skies with a low of 17. That's going to continue for tomorrow. Widespread haze in areas of freezing fog before noon, just hazy afternoon. Partly sunny skies with a high of 33. For Thursday night, patchy freezing fog, mostly cloudy, low of 21. Then for Friday, pretty much the same. Patchy freezing fog in the morning and in the evening hours. Widespread haze during the day, partly sunny skies, highs close to 40 with an overnight low near 26. That's your weather for Zev at the Range.
Gina, thank you. Brought to you by Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew. Great people at Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Delicious. Scarrows Meats, changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. You've got a little story here that you wanted to talk about, a Hayburn man that has made fishing better.
And if you're looking for somebody to nominate for Man of the Year, I think this guy's a good would be a good representative for that. Pretty awesome. Richard Kicklighter, he's an avid angler from Burley area, and we've got a pond over there called Freedom Park Pond, and we tried to stock fish in there, but we've got so many cormorants and so many pelicans that every time we put fish in there, the birds would just go in there and clean them out. And we haven't had the funding to be able to do much with it. And Richard came to us. He came to Doug McGargle and we started talking with him. And we've done very, 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 very little. He went out. He found construction companies. He got cash donations from people.
What do you do to stop the birds?
Well, he made the pond bigger and deeper. And so he was able to, right now, if you go over there, or last week anyway, I don't know whether the backhoe's still in there, but he got a track hoe. They came in, they dug the pond out, they've made it a lot deeper, they've made it a lot wider.
How big a pond is it?
Well, have you ever seen Freedom Park Pond over there? It's over by the airport. Over in Hayburn, when you go around with the baseball fields over there.
Yeah.
There's no place for kids to really go fishing in Burley. We've got Emerald Park Pond, Freedom Park, and these other ponds across the road, but they just get pounded so bad by the pelicans over there, and they're just, I don't know, they're pretty ponds and people can spend time, but we've never had a really good fishery over there. And this guy took it upon himself.
All by himself.
And with, whoever he could recruit. And I don't know all of those people. I know that he spearheaded this. We gave him a little bit of technical assistance on it, and then he's just taken the ball and ran with it. We're going to start.
Nice gesture.
Oh, it is. It's awesome. He made the community better.
Wow.
Over there. He's doing this for the kids. He just wanted to have a place for the kids to be able to go fishing.
Why don't we get him on the program?
I think it would be awesome. I'll get you. I'll give him a holler, or you can.
Well, try to have him come with you next month.
Oh, okay.
That'd be great.
Super guy. But, I mean, he's put a lot of time and money into this.
Yeah.
of his own, and I think it's just a great gesture, especially during the holiday seasons or people. You hear all this. I get so tired of the news, and you see somebody like this that's doing something better for the community, for everybody, being very unselfish.
That's nice.
And so
what's his name again? Highlight his name.
It's Richard Kicklighter.
Okay.
And he's lives in the Burley area. And he's just an avid angler, and he's just doing better things for fishing.
For the kids, primarily.
And there's a lot of older people that I'm sure will use that.
Yep.
They might even let you dip a hook in over there, Zeb.
The way I fish, I couldn't catch anything anyway.
Well, that's why they would invite you.
No, but that's really nice of that man.
It is. I mean, it's nice to see somebody doing something, nice for others.
Absolutely. In this day and age.
You bet. You bet. I don't think we can highlight people that are doing the right thing enough.
I'm going to tell everybody about our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Get ready for wintertime driving. We've been blessed so far, but it's coming. You know it is. The snow, the ice, the muck, the yuck, everything, and all the tires, the traction tires for your cars, pickups, and SUVs right there at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with all the tire chains. Yep. And, of course, the best in brake service. And also the best in front-end alignment, shocks and struts, and batteries. Oh, my goodness. Make sure you have your battery tested. And if it's not going to do the job, they've got all the batteries for you at all 7 locations. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, where doing the right thing matters. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. Yep, the best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. We got through the list.
We did.
Did we shortchange anything that you need to mention, maybe a little bit more information on?
I think we hit it pretty good. It's just tell people to be safe out there, and if you're out this time of year, let somebody know where you're going. And
oh boy, that's
it's
the key.
Just it's cold.
Yeah,
it's mucky when it warms up.
Quick question, and I know that we've talked about this in the past. You see so many people, and you and I are farm-born kids, and we've been out in the elements a lot. But you see so many people; they'll go up into the hills, and they maybe have a sweatshirt.
Yeah, personally, this time of year, I don't let my kids leave the house without a sleeping bag or some food, or just, if they're driving down the road, they need something to be able to spend the night in that car if they have to.
You can check both vehicles on your way out the door and look in the back seat of my pickup, and there's like 93 coats, and in my car, it's the same way. But we don't go anywhere without having an emergency kit in the car or pickup.
No, you need something in there. If you get stranded out there, the best thing to do is stay with your vehicle.
Yeah.
It's the best source of, we've had some tragic accidents over the years in this area just because people leave those vehicles, they break down, they leave those vehicles, try to walk out. It's just safer to stay with the rig where you've got protection from the elements, because it gets pretty cold out there at night.
And I was talking to a family the other day, and they said they were going to go out south of Hanson and look at the lights, and they said their son went out with 3 of his friends the other night to look at them, and they just left the house in their T-shirts. It doesn't make any difference if you're going up in the hills or wherever. At least have something in case of a breakdown of that automobile.
Yeah, it always reminds me of that Wizard of Oz song, If I Only Had a Brain.
Yeah. Hey, I've got to do a little segment on the show called Starving to Death, and it'll take about 2 minutes, and then we'll say goodbye. Okay. If you're hungry and starving to death while you're Christmas shopping, don't forget the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Pumpkin shakes, eggnog shakes, chocolate mint chocolate shakes. Oh, my goodness. And have it with a chicken fried steak sandwich and fries and that special sauce. Oh, delicious. Great big Christmas shopping sandwich from the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, how about Taco Bandito at 2301 Overland in Burley with the pumpkin? Let me try that again. It sounds like Kelton pumpkin empanadas. Oh, they are to die for. Along with this, listen to these breakfast burritos, scrambled eggs, bacon and sausage with cheese, onions, tomatoes, and sauce on a tortilla shell. Woo!
It's called the ultimate. Eat them all the time.
It is good. Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland and Burley. Moving over to Burgers, etc., 124 South Oneida in Rupert, 700 Overland and Burley. Oh, eggnog shakes. Delicious. And they got a different soup every day of the week. And spicy chicken combos, only $5.99 after 3 in the afternoon. You're going to love the menu. You're going to love the people. And, oh, the food is delicious at Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. And now let's move over to Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Food made the way you love it. You've got to check out that chaos salad, chicken breast with bacon, pickles, jalapeno peppers, and all the goodies, lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers. It's all really good, along with buffalo burgers and a different soup every day. It's delicious at Steve-O's in Heyburn. And last but not least, Doc's Pizza, 514 6th Street in Rupert. Oh, my goodness. If you're having a Christmas party, that's the place to go, Doc's Pizza. Don't forget to all the delicious pizzas, a great salad bar, sandwiches, everything delicious. And they wish you a Merry Christmas at Doc's Pizza, 514 6th Street in Rupert. And those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. Any final words, Kelton Hatch?
Merry Christmas and get out and have some fun with your family. I just hope that people enjoy this time of year.
I do too. And may I say, and I'm not kidding, I'm not being facetious, I'm not giving you the rub, I'm just telling you, you have been outstanding for another year on this segment. God bless you and your family. Merry Christmas.
I appreciate that, Zeb. Merry Christmas to you, too.
Thank you. Kelton Hatch, dear friend from the Fish and Game. We're going to wrap things up, put it back in the box for today. We'll be back here tomorrow, but we're going to be over at Denny's for the annual Christmas party all through the program tomorrow. Remote broadcast from 8 to 11, door prizes, Santa Claus, choirs, register for that Lee's Furniture recliner. All of this tomorrow on Zeb at the Ranch. Don't miss it. And the final words from me, Merry Christmas, everybody. See you tomorrow morning.